everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at BingX, and I got a lot of requests for this show in here, mostly from my community members, as to why we took this trade in the first place. Because we took a trade back on August 6th, that was roughly, I think, around 11 a.m. And when we took this trade, it was set up pretty straightforward. Just a leverage 5x trade there. We got entry at 0.0916, which on the charts here is right here at this level. It was breaking through that resistance level. And then, of course, end all be all here for last, just earlier today, we hit the fourth profit target 8 days later, about 137%. That's only on 5x. Some folks were 20x this coin. So congrats again to our community members. But the main reason why I want to show you this here is just kind of the setup that we have. It's a bit of a wide range setup. It's a good swing trade strategy that we're using. We have multiple entries and multiple targets. But what I'm getting at here is 0.916 is right here in this level. And it's important to recognize why we took that trade. So I just want to address that first, and we'll talk about where it's going to go next, because a lot of my members are asking about this. Well, first of all, we're consistently hitting lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so with that lower high, low low pattern, typically you don't want to buy into it. But when you have a second bottom here that hits this previous candle wick, and we have a low liquidity swing where it's just gobbling up all that little liquidity there on the bottom, then that's a case in point where we want to consider possibly taking entry. Okay, so again, mainly, the main reason why is because we have this liquidity sweep here, we hit a lower low, and then oftentimes it'll create a higher low, and then a higher high after that. We saw this higher high here, higher low, and then continued, okay? So again, I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to go 137% as far as profits are concerned, but I'm happy that happened, right? And these are how we structure our trades. Majority of our trades, again, are structured like this. API 3 was the one just before that, good 87% in 8 hours. That was a nice one. They're not all like this, but most of them are coming out to be like this here recently. And the main reason why is because we're finding these low liquidity levels and these nice little areas to get into with a decently large stop loss in place. And with low leverage, we're getting those massive gains because it's able to kind of travel without getting stopped out or liquidated because it has a little bit of a liquidation hunt, right? Anyways, just something to kind of think about, just food for thought, but I wanted to address that right away because folks do like to know kind of where those signals come from. Even though I provide specific detailed analysis on these and I review this coin on that day telling you why anyways, this is kind of just a, here's what I looked at first, okay? So let's take a look at the daily here and kind of work our way down. We can leave these Fibonacci levels here up here because they're still consistent. And in truth, well, I guess 25 minutes ago, this new candle formed. So we could actually create a new fib table here just to kind of see where the price would go. In fact, you know what? Let's leave the current one because I want to be able to anticipate where it's going to go next. That's a big question I get a lot. How much further can this go? Well, we got to keep in mind today is the start of day number 3 on a 2-day tear. Okay, so we've gotten 48 hours of continuation. Oftentimes when you look at overextension, 72 hours is the overextended state when things start to get a little funny. So you can go with the same direction for so long. Commonly, the 3rd day is the last day to pump, and the 4th day is a red day. Today is starting with a doji candle. It's not really all that anticipatory, but generally speaking, if today closes green, I'm willing to speculate tomorrow's going to be a red day. So I'm going to pay attention to this coin and make sure to see if we can go possibly short it on the way down. But once again, we are above this most recent high. Okay, so again, got to keep in mind, July 6th, that was the highest point which the price went, and that was last month, of course, roughly 5-6 weeks ago. Since then, it's been on a steady downcline, and then, of course, it bounced off that double bottom effectively. Okay, so keep in mind, if the price does pull back, it would make a lot more sense for the price to average itself out at that halfway mark, or basically that 0 mark, at 0.122. I'm going to round up a little, so 0.122 is 12.2 cents. Okay, just something to think about there, but again, that's a common retracement area. Got to keep in mind there's tons of low liquidity here with the fair value gap. The chart gets a little funny with this indicator, but generally speaking, what we're looking at here is a decent amount of liquidity here right in the center spot, right at that level. Okay, so again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that there's a decent amount of liquidity in this range. Okay, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but there's potential for the price action to pull back to that level. My speculation is between 0.786 and the 0 mark there, or the 1 rather, at 11.3, between 11.3 and 12.2. That would make sense for the price to pull back or at least get a wick down and continue higher. All right, so again, that's kind of where we're at there for the kind of the back end stuff. When it comes to the front end, we can see we're overextended. We're coming back down to 70 here. So if we don't get this bounce off of 70 on the RSI, then we're going to probably see the price continue lower and or retest that as resistance. Okay, so likely if the price pulls back to that level I'm referring to, we'd get this little bounce and it continue. Because this is a good continuation. Just keep in mind, this is day number 3, the start of day number 3. There's only so much continuation we can see here. It's statistically very rare for a fourth day to be green, at least a strong green. It can be a doji candle in most cases, but a strong green day would be surprising. So if this doesn't pull back tomorrow, like hypothetically the price stays right here at this level, then we might have a further continuation up because it's not overextending itself. It's consolidating nicely. All right, let's talk about that and kind of address that here on lower time frames. Before we do, we're above all three moving averages. Correction, all two moving averages. Important to note, we got a 200-day SMA right there at about 16 cents. So to me, if tomorrow's a green day, I'm willing to speculate if it comes up this high, it'll reject off of that 200 SMA level at about 16 cents. It's a common characteristic. So just something to kind of think about. I'd say that's a great profit target if the price comes up, or an amazing entry for a short. I'm just going to go ahead and mark that on my chart to see if we can get reminded that if it happens to come up that level. Do not walk away from this video saying that's where cash said it's going to pull back. We're not even there yet. Okay, we get there, then that's probably a good consideration. Once again, key Fibonacci retracement level plus an SMA, pretty strong indication we could see a pullback there. That being said, this is a fairly healthy continuation, albeit overextended, of course. We hit a 9 here previously. We got a nice, probably strong short squeeze, push the price action further. Price pulls back. What do you know? We see 3 green candles here. Price pulls back to continue upwards to another 3. So again, we're 12 hours into this secondary 36 hours of continuation. Hypothetically, we could see another 24 more hours tomorrow, which is today technically, for a third day of continuation. Okay, so try to be careful shorting a coin going into this. A lot of times, if that candlestick pattern occurs, it's going to pull back. Once again, it doesn't imply that the price is going to pull, it's going to keep going up right now too. Keep that in mind. Just because you have 2 candles doesn't mean a third one's going to form. But this has a lot of momentum, and I'm willing to speculate we got a lot of volume here too, which we're seeing at this base. So again, the price could pull back, right? If it does, again, 12.2 makes perfect sense. And again, if you're going to short, make sure you have some entry targets, kind of like the way we structure our trades here, with multiple entries as well as multiple profit targets. Because if you're not taking profit, you're not winning, right? And again, these automated trades through Cornix, which are a nice part of our signals community, is just an easy benefit, right? You just literally half these profits were taken when I was sleeping, and I love that. I don't really like having to monitor the charts all day. I prefer to have a personal life, even though it's my full-time job. I'd rather spend less time doing it and more time living, right? I think you want the same thing too. So again, cryptocash.tech is the site. Link down below. We do actually have a summer sale right now. In fact, summer sale 23 is the coupon code. Link down below. Be sure to use that when you register. That'll lock in a lower rate for Premium and Premium Plus. When it comes to Bake though here, what we want to just kind of summarize with is that it's got good momentum, but we are overextended, right? Once again, RSI is still up in the 80s. Okay, that's too much, but you saw this nice little bounce here. That's why you always wait for the RSI to come below 70 before you take profits, because the price will oftentimes bounce off that level in these strong continuation trends. So my speculation is that the second retest here, it's going to break. So if the price doesn't continue higher and the RSI comes below 70 on the 4-hour, that'd probably be a consideration to start shorting. Because again, we're starting to lose that momentum. The price goes sideways at that point, it should pull back. Okay, so I'm going to be paying close attention to this one here, but mainly looking at it tomorrow morning and or tomorrow afternoon, seeing where those candlesticks are going to close and kind of go from there. But obviously we have a MACD convergence and moving averages are good. So not a whole heck of a lot new. The key takeaway here is that volume is still staying strong. The volume can continue. This coin will stay where it's at. So I'm not recommending you short this coin yet. I think it will be a prime opportunity eventually soon, but I think we're still a little early. It could possibly come back down here and wake up. There's still a possibility of that. Okay, so again, tight stop losses, or more importantly, low leverage, so you don't have to use a tight stop loss, so you don't get hit by these candle wicks that keep happening. Okay, I get that question a lot, like, hey, how do I manage this? Well, you're watching too many other people do 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200x. Okay, now don't get wrong. Some of them have strategies. It's all good. They're probably using low amount of dollars to be able to survive that, and they're probably opening multiple trades and showing you the one that works, not the ones that don't. Trust me, it doesn't work that well. Yes, you can get lucky sometimes, but it's hard to be consistent with that much leverage, which is why 5 to 10x is a pretty good sweet spot, because your liquidation levels are far away. Again, just some friendly advice there. That's how to survive markets, honestly. I would steer clear of cross margin if you can. There are strategies there, of course, but it has to change with the market. And right now, I don't think we're on a cross margin type of market. That being said, when it comes to Bake, The last thing we want to summarize here is overextension once more, because that's a really common characteristic. So first of all, we came up to a 9, pushed up. Look at all this overextension here. Massive amount of overextension, about 25% movement that hasn't been corrected yet. When we take a look at these fair value gaps too, you can see, once again, pretty obvious. There's a fair value gap down here at about 12.3, 12.2, and previously one that hasn't gotten filled at about 9.9. So if I'm going to be shorting this coin, I'm going to be hitting take profit targets just above these key Fibonacci retracement levels, all the way down. Okay, so again, that'd give us a nice 4 out of 5 profit targets, and the price will probably turn itself around and automatically close the remaining last 10 or 20%. Again, different strategies, but that's kind of how I like to structure it. So the bottom line here is that there's a lot of value. The price should pull back. I just don't think it's going to happen right now because it has a lot of momentum, and it's best to be patient. If that volume stays where it's at, we're going to be in pretty good shape again. A lot of volume accumulated here between 11.9 and 11 even. That little range there is a nice support range. I think losing this range would be less likely, but I do think this first initial fair value gap to 12.2 will make sense eventually soon. Right now, consider being careful. That's all I ask. Again, that's kind of where we're at here. Nothing too crazy. I know the price action is very nice and very awesome, but once more, I'm telling you, if we have a third green day here, I'm going to be pretty short heavy tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to take my time and be patient and wait. Love to see this this target here, because that's right where our 5th profit target is for our current bake trade. Hitting, closing that last that last little percent, and then opening a short. There's nothing better than reversing your trade, if you will, once you've hit all your targets. So we'll see what happens. It may not happen at all, of course, but if it does, that's kind of what we're looking at there. So again, good luck to you if you're taking a short trade right now. Just make sure to keep it loose. I think a tight short right now would be questionable. It just feels like it's got too much momentum. I feel like we're priming for a nice third day there. There's a little bit more value to be taken to the upside. Okay. All right. One last thing here, just a note with the price action kind of being where it's at, it is hitting this little support shelf. Okay. So we got to recognize 0.618 on Fibonacci, 14.62 is probably going to be a strong support level. If it does come up a little bit higher, once again, it'll be kind of right here at this previous support. Once again, right there, pretty close to 16 cents even. So again, that's the little range that I'm looking for. Anything between 14.6 and 16 is prime for the picking for a short position. Ideally tomorrow, because we want tomorrow to be green, or sorry, I say tomorrow, that's actually today when you watch it, because it just hit 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's what I'm looking for. All right, I hope that made sense and I described it correctly. Again, want to become a better trader, CryptoCash.tag is the site. Help us grow our Twitter community. Love to get some feedback there. We talked a lot about HBAR and shorting that coin earlier today. It is starting to lose momentum. And generally speaking, yeah, just be part of something greater. It's really awesome to be able to have these results, right? So again, thanks so much for joining me. Hope you have a great rest of the day. See you next one. Take care.